Hey guys, Doug Shadwell, and I'm back with another tech video where we are going to discuss the best micro SD card options for your 8K action cam. So today I want to keep it super short because no one likes to spend a long time watching a video, but I've packed the information on the screen on the sheets that I'm going to be showing you. So if you want to get more information and understand more about how the micro SD cards work in terms of write and read speeds and how that translates to all the different information that I can go on for hours about, then pause the video or come back later and have a read around the screen at all the different notes that I've made. But let's jump straight into it. So the most important thing when buying a micro SD card is going to be the V number that you're going to see on the card. And the V number is the minimum guaranteed video write speed. And why that's important is because video is not going to wait for you. It has to get recorded at a certain rate, and the rate that it's going to want to record at will be the maximum camera bit rate or write speed that your manufacturer is going to have in their notes or their specifications. So how do we get from that to the V number? So let's take a look. I've got 5 cameras here, the Insta 360 X4 and X5, as well as the Ace Pro 2. I also have a look at the GoPro Max 2 360 and also the upgraded firmware where that will go a little bit faster in terms of write speed. And then lastly, I look at the DJI Osmo 360. But by way of example, let's start looking at the Insta 360 X4. The specifications from the manufacturer state that they can write at 200 megabits per second. Now, megabits per second translates into megabytes per second, which is what's going to be written on the card itself in an 8:1 ratio. So in other words, there are 8 bits in 1 byte. So you would take your maximum camera bit rate in megabits per second, you would divide that by 8, and you would come out with a required data transfer rate. And I've got them here for you for all the different options of the cameras. And what you want to do is you want to choose a V number that is higher than that rate. So in this example for the X4, we came out with 24 megabytes per second minimum write speed. Therefore, we are going to choose a V number of 30. In other words, the minimum guaranteed video write speed is 30 megabytes per second. So you can have a look which one you need. Important to note, if you are going to upgrade your GoPro's Max 2's firmware to the GoPro Labs version, you are going to need a V60, and then you've only got one option on the market, which is the Sandisk. All right, so how do these recording rates translate at these kind of speeds for the different cameras? You're looking at about 1 to 1.5 gigabytes per minute of video. And the next little part of the table is I'm going to show you for the different SD cards, that's how many minutes of video you're going to be able to store on your different SD cards. Or once you're getting into the solid state drive sort of territory in the terabits, this is how many hours of video you're going to be able to store at that max recording rate for your camera. So it's important to choose wisely. My suggestion would be start in the 256 to 512 gigabyte category, because that's when you're going to be able to store around about 3 to 5.5, 6 hours, depending on the camera that you have. If you want to future-proof things a bit, what I've done is I've taken an assumption that if the next level is 8K at 60 frames per second, because all of the cameras currently only run in 30 frames per second. But if you want to future-proof it, then what you would do, you'd go do the same exercise. And looking here, all the cameras, you need a V number of 60, except for the GoPro Labs firmware update. If they were to double their write speed, you would need a V90 in that case. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into my suggested SD cards. From the research that I've done and from owning some of these cards personally, my take on it is there's only 3 companies which you should look at. It's the Sandisk, Samsung, and Kingston. And I've got a summary of all the different models and cards on the market, and I've got links below to each and every single one of them. So you would just look at this table, and decide how much you want to spend on the right hand side and which card you would need for your specific camera. So most of these products I've got in the V30. I do have V60s for the Sandisk, and whilst not yet available, it seems that Sandisk are probably not far away from releasing a V90 in the micro SD card, because they've already got it in the standard SD version, which you can use on your larger SLR style cameras. So if you've got the GoPro Max 2 360 with the firmware update, you would need to go straight for the Samsung Extreme Pro as an example, in either the 256 or the 512, and ranging from $80 to $150. If you've got any of the other cameras, then it really just depends on the write speed that you want. Most of them are fairly similar. There's not much difference between a Sandisk Extreme and the Extreme Pro in terms of read and write speeds, but there is a significant difference in the cost. So if you're on a lower budget and you don't mind waiting a little bit longer for your downloads, then I would suggest going for any one of these 4 cards. What's really nice is they go up into the 1 and 2 terabyte range. The Extreme Pro the same, but also more expensive. It just depends on what you want to spend. And then in Samsung and Samsung Pro, we've got again some more options. Similar speeds to Sandisk, similar write speeds, and the pricing is also fairly similar as well. So it all depends on what you want. Have a look at this table in your leisure time. But let's move on to some suggestions for solid state drive buys that you guys can make. So really there are, again, Sandisk, Samsung, and Kingston. Each of them come out with a version that has a write speed and a read speed of 1000 megabytes per second, or a faster version of 2000 megabytes per second. So it all depends on how long you want to wait. I've put again, the number of hours of video that you can store on each of these drives. And just a word of caution, some of these may struggle with certain 8K workflows. So whilst it can work, and it would all depend on your budget, my suggestion would be to go for the Pro version on Sandisk, the T9 on Samsung, or the XS2000 on Kingston. The only manufacturer that's currently doing 8 terabits is Sandisk. So again, that would be a great option if you want to future-proof a little bit. But yeah, have a look at the links below. And again, like I said, there's a lot of information that's scattered around the screen in the notes. So if you want to have a look at those, go ahead. But otherwise, yeah, click the links below and see what product you like. It'll take you straight to where you can buy it. So that's a wrap on my suggestions for the best micro SD cards for your 8K action camera. If you like this video, please click the like button, or even better, please comment on what you thought about this video, what SD cards you use, and your thoughts on that. It really helps me, it really helps the channel, and it helps me to make more videos like this. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.